things, like you'll have enough. So here we go. All right. So I'm actually super excited to talk to you guys tonight about this specific topic, because not only is it going to help you boost your business tremendously, but this is literally my baby in this business. This is literally how I went from the beginning, where you guys are, to where I'm at right now. I did exactly what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight. And I did a lot of it. I did it through the seasons where I didn't feel like it. I did it through the seasons where I felt like I was too busy. I did it through the seasons where I felt like my kids were just out of control. I did it through the depressing seasons. I did it through the seasons where I had extreme anxiety. I showed up every single day, even when it was hard and even when I didn't feel like it. And that is why I am where I am today, because I did those things through the hard seasons, which is something that most people aren't willing to do. So because I was willing to do those things, I get to live a life that most people aren't going to ever live, because they're not willing to do the same things. So it's really important to understand this when you're listening to all of these things that I'm sharing with you tonight, to understand that it takes showing up every single day in order to make it happen. To gain momentum in your business, you've got to take massive action and consistency over time. Okay. And that is how I built the entire thing. So we're actually going to be talking about signing loyal customers and the follow-up today. And I'm really, really excited about this, because I've got some fire tips for you guys. I've also got 5 tips for sealing the deal. And then I've also got some great follow-up tips and a method to my madness with follow-ups: the why, the where, and the when. So we're going to start off with just 5 tips for you guys. And you could write these down. I highly recommend it, so that later on you can refer back to them. You could teach other people in the future, and it's not going to feel like you're all over the place with it. Okay. So tip number 1 with signing loyal customers, it is a numbers game. Okay. So what I mean by that is, the more people you add on Facebook and Instagram, the more people you can actually message, which the more people you message, the more host to post you can get up. And the more host to post you get up, the more potentials you get, the more you can follow up, the more people you're going to sign. So it's always going to be about just getting that one more person. So there was sometimes where I would send out, a couple hundred of messages throughout the day, asking people to post on their wall for me. And at the end of the day, I felt like, well, I've done enough, right? But I just consistently said, well, what's one more? What's one more? Right. And so when I worked this business, when I first started, I really put my all into making sure that I showed up in my inbox as much as I possibly could, because I knew that that was the biggest income producing activity that I was going to see. Okay. And what I mean by income producing activity is, how are you supposed to sign people if you're not willing to talk to people in your inbox? Right. Those people are going to flow in and out of your inbox all throughout your day. And it's okay if you can't get back to them right off. Okay. A lot of my method to madness, when I am messaging, I will wake up early in the morning. I'll set my timer for 10 minutes. I will message for 10 minutes straight. I'll get off my phone and I'll set it down. Everybody here knows that I don't respond to my messages all day long. I have a certain time during the day that I am on my phone, and the other times I'm with my kids. And when I first started this business, I was working 2 jobs. So when I wasn't on my phone, I was working my 2 jobs. And then I would get on just to work my business. Then I would work my 2 jobs. Then I would kind of fluctuate and go back and forth. Does it make you feel crazy sometimes because you're having to go back and forth? Absolutely. You are going to feel the pressure on you, but diamonds are made under pressure. And so that's really important to make sure that you keep at the forefront of your brain every single day, knowing that it's going to feel overwhelming. It's going to feel like you're not going to get anywhere. It's going to feel crazy. It's going to feel like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to make this happen? But the only way you're going to make it happen is by continuing to do those same exact things again and again and again, and showing up every day. So it's a numbers game. It's all about your numbers. So if you're not signing anybody, within your first 6 months or so, you've got to look at your numbers. It always goes back to those numbers. How many messages are you sending throughout the day? Well, I can only send this many because my Facebook friends list is only this big. Okay. You got to grow your network, which means it goes right back to those numbers all the time. Add, message, follow up, over and over and over again. It's one big cycle. So that's tip number one. It's a numbers game. The more you do, the more you're going to get, the more you're going to make. Tip number two, it's always about them. So when they say no, it's not because of you. So we can't take it personal when someone looks at us and says, no, I can't do that, right? Or no, I don't want to try it. Just because you're reaching out to them about weight loss products does not mean that they are interested in weight loss products per se. Just because you're reaching out to them about host to post doesn't mean that they all want to post on their page for you. Just because you're reaching out to them about the business doesn't mean that everybody wants to make money from their phone, right? So it's really important to understand when you are working it and you're sending messages, you're going to get a whole different variety of responses. You're going to get some yeses, you're going to get some no's, you're going to get some people who ignore you, you're going to get some people who are mean and rude or whatever. Those people, block them, don't let them take up your time. But you have to understand that you can't take everything personal. I get told no multiple times throughout the day, just like everybody. I get ignored just like a lot of people. I get, rude comments every once in a while too, just like everybody else does. I get told on a daily basis that I'm not, they're not interested. So just because you don't see those things on this end every single day, all day long in your face, doesn't mean that it's not happening. I want you to know that. So if they say yes, it's still about them. Can you guys excuse me for 1 second? Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I got two little girls in my house and they are running around the house like crazy. And I don't think they really understand that I'm on a meeting and stuff like that. Well, Bailey does, but her friend doesn't. So they keep coming out. So it's a little crazy. So anyways, back to what I was saying about step number two. If they say yes, it still has nothing to do. It has to do with their goals at the end of the day, every single time. So if they say yes to wanting to lose weight, it's not because of you promoting it and them doing it just because you're talking about it or you're messaging them. It's about their own personal goals. So it's always important to remember when you're talking to them that it has nothing to do with you. And so if you're going for promotion, you have to learn how to make it about them. And the only reason why I say this is because when I first started this business, I was in dire need of making money. Okay. So every single person that I talked to, I was almost desperate to get someone to get started with me. This is the wrong way to look at it, because then people can feel that desperation and they can feel that you need it, like you need it, like you need it. And at the end of the day, they don't feel like they're actually being talked to because you want to help them. They feel like they're being used. And you don't want that for your business. You want your people to know that you really care about them at the end of the day. And the more people you care about, and that's what I love about this business, it's a pay it forward kind of business. The more you care about other people, the more money you're actually going to make, because we are paid to help others and to care about other people. Okay. So step number two, it's always about them. We have to make it about them, no matter if it's about product, business, post, whatever. Tip number three, no does not mean no forever. When I first started this business, I took offense to this so many times because I always felt like, well, if this person's saying no, that means that they're never going to say yes, right? And what I had to understand is that when people say no, most of the time they're saying just not right now. They're saying, I just can't right now. Okay. So how many of you guys, just show of hands in here, have heard no already? Me too. Hundreds and thousands of times. Okay. And I want you guys to know from experience, and not only experience, but doing a lot of research in the industry in general, that no does not mean no forever. It means not right now. There is so many people that are on your Facebook right now that are telling you no, thank you, or no, or they're ignoring you. They're going to come around, and what they're doing is they're waiting and watching and making sure that your commitment level is up here. They don't want to get in and sign with someone who's going to quit the next day, and they're not going to have a clue how to stop their auto shipment, right? They don't want to sign with someone as a distributor who's going to get them started, use them for that spot and to get that 4-in-1, and then all of a sudden disappear and never talk to them again, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've started a business like this before, not in this company, but in a different company. And I got left high and dry. And I know that it took me an entire year of watching this girl on my Facebook because I did not want that to happen again. And I had to like, know, and trust that person. Granted, I got started and they still quit right afterwards. But when it comes down to it, the more you stay consistent, the more people are going to actually trust you. And when your people get started with you, they're getting started with you. So don't leave them. Don't leave them high and dry. Don't let them sit there by themselves and wonder why, right? Show up for you, show up for them, get them started because you want to help them make money with this business. And even if you don't know all of the answers, the whole thing is you have to become resourceful. It's not whether you know all the answers or not when new distributors get started with you. It's about, are you willing to find those answers for your distributors? You have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone and figure it out. And that is how you help other people. So if you're nervous about signing people or getting people started, and you're like, I don't know how to help them from here on out, right? It's time to get resourceful right off the bat. It's time to say, okay, I don't know the answer, but am I willing to hunt for the answer in order to make it happen? And that confidence right there is where you're going to actually sign people, which is going to bring me to tip number 4, which is confidence. Confidence is the key in this business. Okay. And like I said, with confidence, it's not about whether you know everything there is to know about these products. Confidence doesn't come from actually just using the products. Okay. Using the products actually helps you, but you have to know where you can find the answers. So when you know where the info is and you know, okay, well, I might not know how this works personally. I don't have it stored up in my brain. I can't remember everything, but I do know there's a place where I can find it. And I'm willing to look for that place that I can find those answers. Okay. Another thing is like with results, you might not be using a product yourself. Like for me, for example, I don't use the Thermoflight X. I have really bad anxiety. And whenever I use it, a lot of caffeine in it, it skyrockets my anxiety like crazy. I don't feel like I can function when I take the TFX. Honestly, I'm a mess. So I talk to people about the TFX all the time, but I'm not using it myself. So I don't know a whole lot about how it makes me feel. However, I do have other people that I know that have gotten results. And even if I don't know them personally, I know where I can find personally approved results that I can share with them so that they can feel confident that it's worked for other people, not just them. Okay. So that's how I gain my confidence. I've always gained it through knowing where I'm going, knowing that I'm not willing to back down until I figure out the answer. And I know that I'm willing to find that answer no matter what is going on in my life. Okay. And number 5 for tips is the fortune is in the follow-up. Most people will watch you for 6 months to 12 months on average. That's just on average. Okay. Some people are going to be watching you for way more than this. I know I watched my girl for an entire year, but I know people who have watched me for 2 or 3 years. Sorry, super loud because he's sanding the office right now. So tip number 6, our products work in pairs. So something that I didn't know when I first got started, because what was going on when I first started was I was only offering people one product. Okay. But that one product was getting in their system and they were feeling good, but they weren't getting maximum results. So then they would come back to me and they would say something like, well, this isn't working for me. This isn't doable or whatever. And I didn't realize that if I just paired them with a cleanse, or I just paired them with the coffee, it was going to boost everything 10 times more than it was. So it's important to know that our products are actually formulated to be paired together, to be packaged in actual packages. So if you're getting someone started with the TFX, make sure you throw in one of the extras that's going to help them, like a 2-day detox, or like the slimming gummies that are going to help with specifically their waistline. Okay. Or pair the TFX with this skinny coffee that's going to boost their metabolism in the morning. And then the TFX is going to kick in and boost their metabolism the rest of the day. Right. Pairing like the hair, skin, nails with the collagen, because we know that both of those things help you grow your hair and they also help with your skin. Pairing the 2-day detox with the slimming gummies, because a lot of people are trying to get rid of the bloating and the waistline, pairing any of our skincare products with each other. There's so many different pairs that you can choose. And there's actually pairs that are on the website, which is your website. It should be your first and last name, diaworks.com, no spaces. So if you go to that, you're going to notice that there's a lot of different packages that actually go together, and they go together for a reason, because they're meant to come in and work together because they're formulated like that. Okay. So when you're talking to people and you're only offering them one product, and I only say this because when I first started, I only offered people one product because I didn't believe that they could afford anymore. I was already prejudging people before they actually ordered with me, and shame on me, right? Because now at this point, not now knowing that our products are meant to be, put together, I was offering people only one product. So if I was offering them 2 products, I was actually helping them more than just having them have that one product, right? So it's kind of like I was doing them a disservice by not getting them paired with the right products right from the start and not offering them the package that was actually going to help them from day one. So when I first started, I did this a lot, and that was my money mindset. Do you see how mindset plays into it? This is why we start you off with mindset work a lot when you first get started. This is why we always start our new distributors off, because a lot of us are coming from that same background where we only want to pair them with one product. Well, that one product is not really doing a whole lot for them when that one product is meant to be paired with another product, right? So always making sure you're talking to them about that. And if you can't get in that second product because they only want to try that one product, come back the next month and say, hey, do you want to up this with this? Right? The fortune's always in the follow up with anything. So the more you follow up, the more that relationship's going to be built, and the more they're going to see that you're there to take care of them at the end of the day. Okay. We're going to get a little bit into upsells too in the next part also. So you'll see where you can find those and all that good stuff. So those are my 6 tips for signing loyal customers. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. Okay. So I can answer them as we go, or at the end. So I'm going to go over 5 steps to sealing the deal. I have a more simplified way of putting this on YouTube already. I will put it in the group chat after this so that you guys can have it and you can take notes on it. And it's a visual of this process. Okay. So if you're more of a visual person, that's going to be more for you. Whereas this, I'm kind of going to explain it and you can take notes on it. Okay. So I have 5 different steps to sealing the deal from first contact. And it's always going to start with step number 1, which is going to be asking. There is no way that you can get in touch with someone unless you physically ask or talk to them about the product, right? So we have to make sure that we're reaching out and we are asking as many people as we can throughout the day. Now, this could come from doing your messaging sprees. This could come from doing your host to post, people posting for you and their friends commenting on it, and then you having them reach out to you. This could come from you messaging everybody who likes your stories. This could come from messaging anybody who likes your post, put up an interactive post and send them a message about the cleanse or the copy or the samples or whatever. Okay. But you always want to make sure that you ask. This is where you're going to find their goal. So it's important to know their goal and know a solid goal. So a lot of the times when I'm talking to people, I'll ask them if they want to try, if they know anybody who's looking to lose, 15 pounds throughout the fall, right? And then if they say, yeah, me, I ask them, well, what does your eating habits look like? And then I always ask them, how much weight they're looking to lose and what area of their body is the part where they want to lose the most weight. I always try to figure out, how much weight they're trying to lose. I try to figure out where it is located on their body. I always try to figure out if they feel like it's more loose skin, or if they feel like it is like the pinchable areas, or if it is, from them gaining so much weight. So if you're talking about weight loss products in general, that's what I always try to figure out, because then from there what to pair them with. If they're saying, oh, well, it's loose skin, I just had a baby and my stomach is a little pudgy because of that, but they say, oh, well, it's loose skin from that, right? We're all moms here, so we know, right? We know that when it comes down to it, or most of us are moms on here, when it comes down to it, if someone's got loose skin on their body, we're not going to just throw them the TFX and hope that it works. We're going to figure out how we can get that loose skin to disappear. And the best way to do that is through the skinny wraps, right? It's not a weight loss product. It's a skincare product. So same with if you were talking to someone about their skincare and they were to say, well, I'm just really looking to get rid of the dark circles around my eyes, right? I would not get them started with just the refresh at that point. That's just a face wash. You want to make sure that you get them started with the correct things that are actually going to help them. The descriptions are right on your website. So if you go to your website, your first and last name.itworks.com, and then you go to each individual product, it will literally show you what every single product is all about. And it will tell you exactly what's going on with it. Another great resource, I'm going to drop this in here for you guys so that you have it. It's called myitworksproductcoach.com. All one word. I'm going to repeat it because I know there's a lot of noise in the background. It's called myitworksproductcoach.com. Okay. All one word. But that is a website that will tell you the details of every single product. It is updated regularly and it has tons of different information about it, like the ingredients that are in it and how they work together, commonly asked questions, tons of different stuff. And I've used this ever since I got started because I didn't have anybody to teach me for my upline. So I had to go and find those answers myself. And I know a lot of you are really resourceful and you will use that also. So that's step number one. You have to ask people. The more you ask, the more you can start this process of the five steps to seal the deal from first contact. Okay. Step number two is present the products. You need to present the solution to their problem. So you're going to first figure out their problem and what they need. And the second thing you're going to do is present the solution to them. So what you're going to do here is you're going to actually use your boards app, or if you have it down packed, you know exactly what it does, send a voice clip. Okay. And you can word it the way that you want to. If you want to create your own board and have your own product descriptions spinning off of what you feel about the product and what it's done for you, absolutely do it. I highly recommend doing that if you're using each product. But when in doubt, use the boards app. I'm telling you, I use it every single day. I do the same exact thing. So you want to use the product description in the boards app. So let's just say you message someone and you're talking to them and they say, oh, I just really want a really good detox. I'm really bloated and I'm exhausted all the time. I'm having mood swings like crazy. I have acne like everywhere. I feel brain fog, sluggish. And you go and you send them the 2-day cleanse description. And then you always want to send a before and after picture with the products that can use a before and after picture. So if, for example, you're talking to them about the 2-day cleanse, there's a before and after picture for that, right? Because it helps with bloating. So you can send them a picture of someone who was way less bloated afterwards. Okay. If it's for the TFX, we have before and after pictures for that. If it's for the hair, skin, nails, we have before and after photos of that. If it is for the any of our skincare products, there's so many before and after pictures for skincare. Pretty much every single product that we have has them, except for like the energy boosters. Those are the ones that you're not going to see anything for, but they're all in the Boards app. And if there's ever one that you really need, you can also go to Pinterest, type in "it works" results or something like that. You can find them in there. You can also find them in our team page, Team Diamond Hustler. Go to the albums section, click on the results tab, and it's going to show you a ton of before and after photos that you can use. You always want to make sure that the before and after pictures have the little disclosure down at the bottom. That disclosure is important because it's going to have just talking about how this person's results was this, that, and everything. And it talks about what they used and all that good stuff. So make sure you always send the description and then a visual afterwards. A lot of people are visual decision makers, so it's really important that you show them that so they can emotionally connect with it. Step number 3, after we get them, we figure out what their problem is, we give them the solution, we ask them if that's something they want to try. When they come back and they say yes, that's when you want to send them the price. And the price is always going to be in this sentence. I'm going to say it once, okay? The price is always going to be said in, it retails at blank, and you fill in the blanks. So it retails at blank, but when you try my 90-day challenge, you can get my personal discount, which would be blank. Is that doable for you? So that is how you're going to word your pricing every single time, because you're letting them know how much it was before the discount and then how much you're able to help them with. And then at the end, you're always asking them a question. And this is a little fire tip I want to give for you guys just randomly. Whenever you're talking to someone, make sure that you're always asking a question at the end of it that's bringing your conversation back to where you're wanting it. Because if you don't direct the conversation, they will direct the conversation. When you direct that conversation, it actually creates this confidence that they can see, because you know where you're going and you know what you're trying to get at. So if I'm talking to someone, and I've seen this several times, if I'm talking to someone and they ask me how much it is, I'm not just going to say it retails at $65 a month, but when you start my 90-day challenge, you can get my personal discount, which would be $39 a month. Because then they have that decision in their hands on whether they want to answer you back or not, because you're not asking a question. So you always want to ask that question at the end of everything that directs your conversation back to where you want it to be. So after I present them with the solution to their problem, I always ask them, does that sound like something you'd want to try? Or I'll ask them, do you want to try this? Or does this sound like something you want to try with me? Okay. And then for the price, I always ask at the end of the price, I tell them the price in that language right there, in that verbiage. And then I always say, does that work for you? Or I say, is that doable for you? That way I know that I can get a yes or a no, or when they're ready to order type of answer. Okay. This is where some people, you will lose them in the conversation. And that's where the follow-up comes in later down the road. But for those people who say, well, I can't right now, you're going to want to ask them, well, if not now, when? So I ask this in a way where I might say, I understand, totally understandable. When works better for you? Or if they say, well, I can't right now, I might say something like, no worries, I totally understand. What's the next day that you get paid? Okay. So I'm always asking that question. What's the day that works better for you? Or when's your next payday? Or what day works better for you? Or, I'm always asking that question, trying to figure out a date, because if someone's not going to order with me right then and there, I want to get them to commit to changing their life in some way, shape, or form on a different day. Because if we don't, then we're never going to really know. Right? So we want to always make sure that we get that day from them. And some people will leave you on red at that point, and it's okay. It happens to me all the time. And so at that point, that's when you're going to do the follow-up. And I'm going to explain follow-ups here in a couple of minutes for you guys. So that's step number 3, talking about the price. And then step number 4 actually was order or get a date for the order. You're always going to want to either get them to place the order right then and there or ask them what day works better for you. Okay. And then step number 5 at the end of it, whether they order or they don't order, you're always going to ask them if they'll post for you too. So I say it like this. I'll say, thank you for your order. I appreciate it so much. I am having a cash giveaway this month. Would you want a free entry in? That's how simple it is to ask them if they want to post for you too. If someone says that they can't order right now because they just can't afford it, I'll ask them when. They'll give me a date and I'll say, okay, in the meantime, I'm having a cash giveaway this month. Would you mind putting up a simple post on your wall for me? And in return, I'll add your name into this giveaway I'm having. Sound good? Okay. So that's how you can literally word it word by, verbatim, to get them to post for you also. And there's multiple other different ways, and you'll see them in our chats all the time, with people just being able to ask. So that's it for loyal customers. That is literally how I sign my loyal customers throughout the day. It's all about doing more. It's all about following that same exact layout for the conversation again and again and again and again and again. It's all about knowing that the no's don't mean not forever. It just means no, not right now. And then let's move on to follow-ups really, really quick. So follow-ups are a little bit shorter. So I promise I won't take it much more of your time. But I like to talk about the why, the where, and the when of follow-ups. So why we follow up is because when it comes down to it, the product that you're talking to them about is not always going to be for them right off, right? They might see something in the spur of the moment and they might say, yes, I want that. But then a week later, they end up losing, 30 pounds, and not a week later, you get what I'm saying? A little bit further down the road, they lose 30 pounds and they don't need our service with weight loss anymore. However, they might be interested in making money instead, right? And that could have been why we connected in the first place all along. So when it comes down to it, people have to like you and trust you to do anything with you. And so they're watching you, they're waiting, they're seeing if you have what they really truly want. And so you might have sent them that initial message asking them if they want to lose weight, but that's not really what they wanted in the first place. They really just wanted a detox, or they really just wanted the route. So they really just wanted to make money with you, or they really just wanted to get into the giveaway that you keep talking about all the time, right? So when you're doing your follow-ups, usually I follow up with them 2 times. I follow up with them the day after they message me and I have that conversation with them. And then I message them again on that Friday. The Friday after that, I rotate my messages. So I don't stick it out. If let's just say I'm talking to Jamie about the 2-day cleanse and I say, I'm talking to her and I go through the whole conversation, 5 steps to sealing the deal. She says, I can't do it right now. And then, I follow up with her the next day and I say, hey girl, I'm putting in a couple of last minute orders for my 2-day cleanse. Do you want me to add one in for you too? And Jamie comes back to me and says, no girl, I just can't do it right now. Right? Which you'll get all the time. That Friday, I'm going to message her back and I'm going to say, hey, just wanted to let you know, I've only got 1 more spot left for this 2-day cleanse. Do you want me to put in an order for you? She's either going to say yes, or she's going to no. A lot of people, what you're going to notice, they might not say yes in the middle of the week 2 times, but they'll say yes on a Friday because they get paid on a Friday. So never underestimate following up on those Fridays, because those Fridays are when a lot of people are getting paid and they want it. They just can't do it till Friday. And they don't know how to tell you that they can do it on Friday, right? They just don't say it. So when you follow up with them right at that right time, and you are that last person that's in their inbox, they're going to sign with you. But if you don't follow up with them and you choose not to do your follow-ups, just because of whatever fear or thinking you have lack of time or whatever your thought is, your excuses that day, right? you want to make sure that you understand that someone else is going to come in and they're going to sign that person. They're going to take every little bit of work that you did to talk to that person about these products, and they're going to swoop in and they're going to sign them. So it is so important to know that the follow-ups are so important, because you want to be that last person that talked to them. But not only that, okay, when you're talking to people, a lot of people aren't signing with you right then and there because they need to like you, know you, and trust you. People will buy into you before they buy into the products. So a lot of people, even like my new distributors that come in, they had to know me before they trusted me enough to say yes for me leading them through their life. They had to know that I was willing to go all in. So they are watching my Facebook, and some people are watching my Facebook for 6 months to an entire year. I've had a couple of people, like I said, who watched my Facebook for 2 to 3 years and just finally signed with me. And they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have signed sooner. But when it came down to it, they needed to know that I was all in. Because if I'm all in on my business, that means when they sign with me or when they sign up with me as a loyal customer, I'm going to be all in for them. I'm going to be willing to help them because they see what's going on Facebook and they're watching it. They're seeing how persistent I am in my inbox. And I can't tell you how many people just this week have messaged me back and said, I appreciate you messaging me and I love your persistence. Okay. People say it all the time, but they have to watch you and they have to hear from you consistently in order for them to feel that way about you. They're going to know that you're committed. And that's what they want. They want to know that you're committed. So making sure that you are showing up every single day and making sure you're doing those follow-ups so that you're the last one. So going back to how I follow up with that, I do the next day follow-up, and then that Friday I follow up with them about the product again. And then the following week, I switch up my messages and I will send them a message for host a post or becoming a potential distributor, asking them, hey, I know that you were interested in this product. Just super curious. Have you ever thought about doing what I do to make some extra cash and be able to use these products? Some of these people that you're talking to, they might be interested in the product, but they just don't have the money for it. So why not get paid at the same exact time while you're using these products, right? So I always offer them that. Now, some people aren't people that would want to work this business, and it's okay. So the following week after that, I'm going to ask them, hey, I know you're interested in the product. I'm not asking you to buy anything, but I am having a cash giveaway. Would you want in for free? And that's how you get them in and get them to post for you. And the great part is that just because they're not interested right now does not mean that their friends aren't interested. Their friends might be sitting on their Facebook waiting and hoping and wishing for a new opportunity to make money, or hoping and wishing and waiting for a new opportunity to be able to get rid of bloating and finally go to the bathroom after months. You know what I mean? Like, they want those things and we have that solution for them. But how are they supposed to know about it unless their friend that we're friends with gets us in connection with them? And that's what Host to Post is for. It gets you into connection with people who truly need these products or need this business that wouldn't be able to connect with you unless they posted for you in the first place. So that's the why for it. The where you can find it in boards. Your follow-ups are right in your boards app. If you go to your boards app and you click on the Messaging Madness, if you're on our team, you have this board. If you go to the Messaging Madness, and then you click on the follow-up board in the Messaging Madness board, all your follow-up messages are right there. And there is multiple that you're going to come by. So it doesn't mean that every single week you have to use exactly what's in that board. However, you want to keep your conversations light and simple. You do not want to send these big, long, spammy messages. I'm sure you guys have gotten them from other companies before. We don't do that here on this team. We're not going to spam people with crazy long messages and big links and say, hey, here's this product and this is how it works and this is how much it costs and this is the link if you want to order from me. Okay. We're not going to do that. That's spammy. That doesn't build a relationship. That doesn't help them really get get what they want. That shows that you're being salesy, and that's not what we want to aim for. We want to make sure that we create that relationship along the way. We want to make sure that we have that conversation about what they truly need so we can truly help them with the products and stuff like that. And that is what sets us apart from other teams and other companies, is that we are not spammy when we send messages. We send messages asking for referrals, not asking people if they want to lose weight. We say, hey, do you know anybody? So we're always asking them if they know anybody instead of that. And we're not sending long spammy messages. So if you are creating your own follow-up messages, I think that's a great idea. Just make sure that you keep it light, you keep it fun, 1 to 2 sentences and a question at the end of it. That's what every single response that you send back should be. 1 to 2 sentences and a question at the end of it. So you can find a lot of follow-ups in there. If you want to spin them off, absolutely do it. If you want to create your own, or you want to send a personalized message with a voice clip, absolutely do it. I love voice messages. They're more personable. People start to know who I am and my personality by me sending those, and I encourage them for sure. And then the last part of the follow-up is the when. And I just talked to you guys about this, the follow-up schedule. I actually keep them in my schedule book, just like I showed you on my Zoom call last week. So if you didn't watch that, make sure you go back and you watch that part where I was showing you my physical calendar, and you could see how I went back the day before. And then on Fridays, I go back my entire week, and then every week before that. And then the week before that, the week after that, I do the same exact thing. It's always every single day, you're going to follow up with the day before. And then on Fridays, you're going to follow up with everybody. So that's it for the why, the where, and the when. Now I've got 3 tips that are left for follow-ups. I'm gonna let you guys go. So tip number 1, people always ask me when they come in, they say, well, how many times do I follow up? Like, when do I know that I followed up enough? Okay. And I'm going to share something with you that I learned from actually Jade Hooper. So I'm not going to take credit for it. I'm going to let her take credit for it and give credit where credit is due. Jade Hooper actually said that she follows up with people until they either delete her or they block her. Okay. When it comes down to it, there are so many people that are out there that you're following up with every single week. And a lot of them need this, like they need this, like they need this, but they don't understand the value of what this business can give to them or what these products can give to them. And they need to build that self-belief, or they need to build that relationship with you, or they need to be able to build that trust in you that you're going to get them to where they need to be. And I want to share my story with you guys because I think it's really powerful. And I know there's new people on here every single week, and there's going to be tons of people watch this video. So I actually watched the girl that signed me up with this business for an entire year. I watched her for a whole year, and she messaged me more than 50 times following up with me. Most people would look at that like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that girl. At first, yes, I did think she was annoying. At first, yes, I did make fun of her. At first, absolutely. I told her no, time after time after time after time. I did tell her that I wasn't interested. I did tell her that I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it. It wasn't for me. I wasn't a salesperson. I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough friends. I didn't have enough following. I didn't have anybody who supported me, and all the things. I said every single excuse in the book. Okay. Meanwhile, while I was coming up with all of these excuses with my small mindset back then, my life was drowning. I was to the point where I was becoming irritable every single day because Matt and I were fighting over money consistently. We were losing our house. We were $500 in the negative in not only one account, but 2 different accounts. My daughter was in the middle of a screaming match almost every single day because Matt and I were fighting all the time. And I was drinking, excessively drinking, just to get rid of my problems and my anxiety. I was using it as a vice every single day. And I'm consistently saying that, if I was doing a whole bunch of stuff while drinking that was just so dangerous, and I should have never even done it. But you live and you learn. And I feel like God put me in those areas for that reason. But this is how it works with this business, and why this story is so important to understand. If she did not continue to follow up with me, I would have never gotten started with this business. And if I did not start with this business, I probably would have been either dead from drinking and driving and doing all these things that I shouldn't have been doing. I would have been in jail from killing somebody else or doing something terrible that I shouldn't have been because I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. My mindset was horrible, guys. I needed this business because I needed the mindset, and I didn't know how to get it without finding a company that works with you so much on your mindset. Okay. Matt and I would have been split up. My son, Bo, would not be here right now because Bo is a product of me going diamond in this business. Okay. Matt and I were on the verge of literally calling it quits. He showed up to the courthouse to file custody on my daughter, and we were fighting and fighting and fighting nonstop. I was about to lose everything. When I say I was about to lose everything, I was not kidding about that. I was about to lose my house, my relationship, my daughter, my job, my life, my freedom, everything. And if she did not follow up with me that 50th time, I just think about it all the time. If she would have gotten to that 49th time of messaging me and me saying, no, I just can't do it 49 times, and she didn't follow up with me that 50th time, my entire life would be completely different. So when you're following up with people, we got to stop being selfish. Stop saying that, oh, I don't want to follow up with this person because I don't want to bother them. Just know that person's going through something. Everybody's going through something. So that next follow-up, you could change their entire life. You could change everything for them. You can move their life forward. And when you think about it like that, it kind of makes you want to hustle a little bit harder, right? It makes you want to push harder because you know that you could literally save someone's life. You could literally save a Chelsea's life just by doing a follow-up. So I'm so appreciative for her. And even though she quit right after I got started, I thank the good Lord for her every single day that she did not quit at 49 follow-ups. And she kept going to that 50th follow-up when I said yes with her. And I finally got started, and it changed everything for me. And now Matt and I, we're in a relationship where we work on things. We're happier than we've ever been. We built an entire addition on our house. Our bills are paid up to date and even ahead of time. We are not struggling with everything. We are literally thriving more than we ever have, and more than I ever would have been working 80 hours a week. And it's because I showed up, or I was introduced to this business that allows me to work and show my work ethic, and I get paid for what I'm actually worth, not what everybody else thinks that I'm worth. So tip number one, fortune is in the follow-up. Follow up people until they block you or they delete you, just like Jade Hooper says, because you're changing other people's lives. We got to stop being so selfish, right? Tip number two, let me see how I word this. Okay. If you send 2 messages about product, okay, like when you're doing your follow-ups throughout the week, if you send 2 different messages about product, you want to make sure you always switch up that message. However, if you're talking to someone and someone, let's just say you just messaged someone for the first time, okay, and you send them a message for product, and you're talking to them the next week, and you message them about the business, and then you message the next week, and you maybe message them for host to post. If someone does not message me back from all 3 of those types of messages being sent out, I do not keep them on my Facebook. And it's just because they're not willing to message me back. Now, okay, this is just a scenario that I come by all the time. If I message people, let's just say, Tina, I go and I send a message to Tina, and I ask her about product, and she says, yes, I'm interested. But then she ignores me when I get to the price, right? Which a lot of people do. A lot of people will. Then the next week I go and I follow up with her, and I message her about maybe becoming a potential distributor, and she ignores me. Then I message her about host to post. She ignores me. I still keep her on my Facebook, and I still continue to follow up with her because she sent me back that one message that talks about the product. because once they're interested, once they are interested forever, unless they block you or delete you. They're always interested, but there's always reasons why they can't. And eventually you're going to catch them at that time when there is not going to be any reason why they can't. They're going to finally believe in themselves and they're going to finally know that they can. You're going to end up signing them as a loyal customer or distributor, and you're going to change their life, either with, their skincare, or their, maybe they've been bloated forever and they've needed it desperately, but they haven't had the money for it. And all of a sudden you've caught them, right? You caught them on the right day where you could get them started finally changing things for themselves. So I just want to kind of share that with you, because I always get asked, well, how long do I message people, once I get started? Because when I first started, I kept literally everybody, and my Facebook got overwhelming and I felt like I never had anybody to message. If you message someone, a loyal customer, a distributor message, and a host to post message, and they don't answer all three of those, it's time to remove them from your store, right? And your store is your Facebook. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, people are watching you and they're waiting, and you can't prejudge your business off of one person saying no. So if one person says no, or multiple people say no within your day, it does not mean that your business is failing. It does not mean that you should just throw in the towel and quit. It just means you need to add and you need to message more. A fixed mindset says, oh my gosh, all these people today and this week are saying no, I'm not finding anybody. I'm not finding anybody. Nobody's saying yes. Nobody's saying yes. A growth mindset says, I will keep messaging until people say yes. I will keep going until I sign these people up. I will keep going until I find the right people that come to me that want to work with me, right? So we have to switch our thinking from a fixed mindset of when things get hard and you're not finding anybody, let's throw in the towel or take a break. That's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset says, let's keep going regardless of what's going on in our life. Let's keep going even when things are hard. Let's keep going even when nobody's saying yes today and everybody's saying no, even when everybody's ignoring me, right? Talking about it, complaining about it, all the things, it's not doing anything for us. So we have to continue to show up. We have to understand that everybody else is going through the same thing. Everybody else gets the same messages, but the people who are set apart from, the people who are successful to the people who are not successful, the only thing that sets them apart is those people who are successful just keep going. I said this today to someone and I said, I just kept going. I had a hard day, just kept going, just still showed up. I had a day where nobody said yes. I just kept going. I just had a day where my anxiety was through the roof. Guess what? I still showed up, right? I kept showing up every single day, day in and day out. So I hope that the Zoom call helped you guys. If you have any questions, private message me or send me a message in the chat, and that way I can answer it for everybody. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate you guys hopping on and taking the time to learn for your business, and I hope you have a great night.